Today here in the dungeon, we're talking about 14 boss pedals that every guitar player should check out. I posted a video here not too long ago about various different Electro-Harmonix pedals that I thought everybody should check out, and you guys surprised me as you guys actually really seem to enjoy that video. So, I decided that we are going to do one on Boss pedals. Why? Because Boss pedals are awesome. So here they are in the order that they came to me in. Here are 14 Boss pedals that every guitar player should check out. And seriously, look at this thing. It's just, God, it's built like a tank. You can drive a nail with that thing. Number 1, the SD1 Super Overdrive. This is really the compact size stomp box that put Boss on the map. This was, I believe, at least one of the first ones. I think the OD1 may have been the very first, but the SD1 came right after it. This was essentially the built like a tank stomp box design that has not been changed in 40 years and still exists today. This is one of the ones that put them on the map. The SD1 really is Boss's Tube Screamer circuit, or I guess back then it would have been a Tube Screamer clone, if you will. The other thing that I really like about this pedal is before MXR came out with the Zakk Wylde Overdrive. The Zakk Wylde Overdrive was really based on the SD1 that Zakk Wylde had used for years prior to that pedal coming out. If you're a Zakk Wylde fan like I am, or you're a Tube Screamer fan, check out the Super Overdrive. And it's still also one of the most affordable pedals in Boss's line. This one, I believe, only runs $59.99, brand new. And why did the SD1 come to my mind first? Because I am on the hunt for one as we speak. For some reason, I've never owned one. Number 2, the DS1 Distortion. I just bought this one here a couple of weeks ago, and for some reason, this is another Boss pedal that everybody knows about. This pedal, everybody's familiar with it. Everybody knows what it does, what it sounds like, and for some reason, I've never owned one. So I decided I'd go pick one up. So here it is. I am, this pedal has been around. This is another one that's been around for 40 years or more. I'm going to do a video with this here soon. Maybe not necessarily a demo because, like I said, everybody knows what these are, but I'm going to do something with this here soon, just because this is one of those things that everybody ought to have one laying around. Number 3, the CE5 Chorus Ensemble. The original Chorus Ensemble came out as a hardwired much larger stomp box back in the 70s and is a legendary sound. The CE5 came out, I believe, in the 90s at some point, which essentially was a stomp box recreation of that pedal. Anyway, that was my favorite chorus pedal for many years. I had the same one, on my board for 15 years, and it didn't move. It just recently got replaced by something else, but that was because the something else, and I'm going to leave that out of this video because this is a Boss video. But the something else gives me a little bit more of a modern type of chorus tone that the CE5 did not seem to do. That said, I still love the CE5. It's still probably my all-time favorite chorus pedal. I will always love that pedal. It's very transparent. It's very useful and just a great chorus pedal. Number 4, the DD7 digital delay. I have one on my shelf that's actually buried behind a bunch of stuff right now, which is why I don't have it in my hand. But all the delay pedals that I try, be it for a demo on this channel or any number of other reasons, just because I love delay pedals, I still keep going back to my trusty old DD7. Still my favorite delay pedal. It does everything I've ever needed it to do. It's got lots of different types of delay on it, from analog to tape to reverse. It's even got a looper function on it, should you need it. It has an input for an external foot switch, so you can do tap tempo with that. That's tap tempo on a standard stomp size foot switch, or a stomp size pedal rather, with an external foot switch. So it doesn't take up a whole lot of real estate on your pedal board. The previous generations of that pedal were the DD5 and the DD6. The DD7 will always win, in my opinion, because the DD5, I believe, had stereo inputs and stereo outputs, but did not have the external foot switch input. So, on the DD6, one of the stereo inputs was jettisoned in favor of the foot switch input. Finally, on the DD7, they got it right, and it's that one has stereo inputs, stereo outputs, as well as a separate input for the foot switch, plus a couple of extra delay types on it. Lots of flexibility, same Boss quality, same Boss durability. If you need a delay pedal, just go get a Boss DD7. Number 5, the RV6 reverb pedal. Whenever a conversation about reverb pedals comes up, finally in online forums and Facebook groups, the Boss reverb pedals are finally starting to get the recognition that they deserve. The RV6 reverb and the RV5 digital reverb, the generation before it, is also excellent. Are finally starting to get mentioned in the reverb pedal conversations, along with the Hall of Fames and all that stuff out there. They're all great pedals, but the Boss reverb pedals are just as good, if not better. Stellar, realistic reverb sounds. Pros use them all over the place. Being reverb pedals, they are a little bit pricier. If you can't quite swing the price tag on an RV6, I strongly suggest you look on the used market for a used RV5, which would get you most of the features and the same quality of sound at a much lower price. Number 6, the RC3 loop station. There's a lot of different versions of the loop station out there. There's the RC30, which is the dual pedal version, the RC300, which is the giant board with like 6 different switches on it or something crazy. That's for serious looping. But even the RC3 on its own will handle just about anything that you need it to do. This one, you can plug in a 2-button foot switch and get more control over all of the features on it, because it is packed with a lot of features. But it has up to, I think, 3 hours of delay time on it. I don't know how anybody could possibly get close to 3 hours, but that's how much it has on it. It has the ability to store even more presets and delays via an SD card. One use for an RC3 on a pedal board is actually not even in the pedal chain. If you are in a cover band and you're playing a well-known song that has a strange sound effect or something in the beginning, if you can get the right recording of that sound effect, you can actually play that sound effect with the RC3 and just run a cable from the RC3 straight to the soundboard at a live show. Doesn't even have to be in your signal chain, but still gets the job done what you're trying to accomplish. There's a lot of uses for the RC3. Number 7, the DC2 Dimension C. This is probably one of the most famous chorus pedals, and if you are a fan of the 80s like I am, and you love all those chorus sounds, the Dimension C is most likely the pedal that you have been hearing all of these years, if you didn't already know. The DC3 is all over all the Cures records, and the Flock of Seagulls hits, both of them. Erasure, NXS, Dokken, anybody that you can think of back in that era that used a chorus pedal. Most likely it was a DC2 or the DC3 rack mount version. The Dimension Cs from the 80s are all made in Japan. They are highly collectible now and very, very difficult to find, especially in good condition. In good condition, these pedals can sell for anywhere between $350 and $500 on the vintage market. Fortunately, Boss has helped solve this problem recently and come out with a new Waza version, also made in Japan, that is an exact recreation of the DC2 Dimension C chorus pedal, as well as also including sounds from the rack mount version that was out at the same time. The model escapes me at the moment. I'll post that on the screen here below me, but there is a separate mode inside this new pedal for those chorus sounds as well. It's very unique, and then this pedal doesn't have any knobs at all. It's got 4 push toggle buttons to select what kind of chorus tone that you like, and you can select multiples or one or all of them, and any combinations you can think of to get all different kinds of very, very lush 80s style chorus. Number 8, the DM2 delay. That's right, not every pedal on here is in their current lineup. Some of these are long discontinued, such as the Dimension C that I just mentioned. Another one that goes right next to that one is the DM2 delay. The DM2 delay was a legendary delay pedal back in the 80s. Believe it or not, this was actually a Bucket Brigade analog delay. Boss is not known for their analog circuits, but this is one time that they made an exception, and what a classic it has since become. Another pedal that sells for $300, $400, $500 on the vintage market today, if you can find one. Just a great all-around delay pedal, and it was so great and so highly sought after. Again, this is another one that Boss has decided to reissue in their Waza Craft line. Number 9, the GE7 Equalizer. Or if you're a bass player that happens to be watching this video, the GE B7 bass equalizer. You know, who doesn't need an EQ pedal? There are a zillion uses for an EQ pedal, and my favorite use of the GE7 especially is as a clean boost in the effects loop. Again, 7-band EQ has all the EQ adjustability that I would ever need, as well as the level control that will boost both the level and the gain simultaneously. So using it as a clean solo boost in the effects loop is a very effective way to use this pedal. Also, if you are a user of distortion pedals and you can't quite get that there distortion pedal to get to right where it needs to be, the Boss EQ pedal right behind the distortion pedal is a great way to fix that problem. There's a lot of these pedals out there. You can find them all over the place on the used market for very affordable prices. Number 10, BF3 Flanger. Excellent flanger. If you're somebody who likes really simple effects, not necessarily subtle, but simple, meaning there's not a gazillion knobs on it for you to worry about, this thing's only got 3 of them. It's a very straightforward flanger, but it's another one of those things that is just, it's on pedal boards all over the place because it's so easy to use, so easy to dial in, and it sounds fantastic. There was a period of several years back in my store days that I don't know if this is intentional, but the Boss Flanger was the only new flanger pedal in the entire building that we carried. Somebody would come in looking for a flanger pedal, and that was the only one that we had. Again, I don't know if it was intentional, or if it was, I think it was just one of those things that was overlooked, but for the longest time, it was Boss Flanger or bust in the store that I was in. Number 11, the MT2 Metal Zone. Come on, you know you got one buried in the closet somewhere. Don't be shy, it's okay. They're getting popular again. Everybody's got one. And for any Metal Zone haters that may be watching this video, here's a fun fact for you. Only the TU2 and the TU3, the 2 Boss tuner pedals, those are the only pedals in Boss's entire line that they have ever had out that have outsold the Boss Metal Zone. Whether anybody wants to admit it or not, in the 90s, that 4-band parametric EQ that is on that pedal was, really the first of its kind, and there was, aspiring metal players such as myself that played through that thing religiously. The Boss gods have finally answered our prayers and have just recently this year, released a Waza Craft made in Japan version of the Metal Zone. I really want one of these pedals. Number 12, the JB2 Angry Driver. You see different boutique companies that will collaborate on a new pedal together. You see that fairly often in our industry. You almost never see one of the big companies like Boss doing a collaboration with a boutique company like JHS. Now, and I recognize of all the boutique companies, JHS is one of the larger ones. They have a much larger product line, certainly more so than like an Idiot Box or a small company like that. So I recognize that they're of the quote unquote boutique companies. JHS are one of the larger ones. However, they're still considered a boutique company, and it was really a kind of a monumental milestone in the pedal industry to see them do a collaboration with Boss. And what the JB2 Angry Driver is a cross between the Boss Blues Driver and the JHS Angry Charlie, which is a really high gain overdrive distortion pedal. I did not include the Blues Driver on this list, even though it is a great pedal. I just didn't think to include it on this list because of the Angry Driver. This is one of the most unique pedals that Boss has ever produced. It's got all different kinds of overdrive and distortion tones in it. It's a really unique pedal. This one, of all the dry pedals, this one I think is by far the most expensive. Brand new, sells for $199. And, again, just a really, the whole story behind it is just really cool, and I'd love to have one. Number 13, the DS2 Turbo Distortion. Basically one of these, but with a lot more. Number 14, the SG1 Slow Gear. This is like an auto swell pedal that you don't see a whole lot of companies making anymore. This is, kind of similar to a tremolo in that it's essentially it's kind of it's a volume swell, but it's an auto swell. It's difficult to describe really. This is another pedal that Boss has not made for a long time. This is one of the rarest Boss pedals out there on the vintage market. Again, these are very expensive if you can find them. It's even more difficult to find them in good condition. If you do find one, you're going to pay for it. But if you're into a kind of really out there kind of trippy sounding guitar effects, it might be worth the hunt for you. If you don't want to spend that kind of money, fortunately, the fine folks over at TC Electronic have released a clone of this pedal called the Crescendo. I have not gotten a hold of that one yet to demo. I hope to here one of these days. Just haven't gotten around to it. But there is a modern, affordable option that's out there, but it's not the same as the old SG1. There's a lot of mojo with that pedal, especially if you're really into spacey effects. So that's all for this list. Why did I make it 14? Simple, because 13 is an unlucky number. And also because Boss's catalog, if you will, and the history of their entire product line and the history of all of their compact size stomp boxes like this, there is a ton of models that they have produced over the years, and this list really doesn't even scratch the surface. Unfortunately, I do not own all of them, but these are some of the ones that I thought were certainly worth mentioning when talking about a great company with the history that Boss has. So leave me a comment down below. Please let me know what your favorite Boss pedal might be, especially if it was one that was not on this list. Tell me what it is, and tell me why you like it, and tell me how you use it. I will post links to all of the Boss pedals that I mentioned in this video, as well as probably a few others down in the description as normal. Last but not least, if you have not already hit the subscribe button to this channel, please consider doing so, as well as the alert icon so you don't miss out. It really does help out a lot. And one final note, check out my Teespring shop down here below the little viewing window that you're watching me in. That would be a great big help as well. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.